It should be understood that we want a university forum, not a meeting between two and three people.
Yeah.
And we've already had one. I'm sure the president would be glad to have another one.
We don't want the town hall meeting. We want a meeting specialized for this
We
cause.
want to be heard.
I was speaking to him.
All they finding is excuses like, oh, satellite student union.
Well, let's give them a chance.
Just anywhere, it don't matter.
You know, that's what I don't understand. Our proposal was to get this negotiated. See how we're going to negotiate in a bigger meeting. There's no commitment to negotiate. There's no thank you for coming, goodbye.
I have a question. To what extent are you able to separate this out between being a campus problem and a statewide problem?
Both. There's no
The issue
separation.
administration
But with the
is
campus
the problem
problem,
all over.
yeah, I mean, you do understand that we're given only so much money.
We also
CSU.
understand that you fiscally mismanaged it for decades.
No,
Dr. Olario, I think we're mad because, like, the Board of Trustees say that they're not a lobby group, but in reality, they should be a lobby group for Senate bills and Assembly bills that affect higher education. They're not. They should be a lobby group for higher education. That our student days like me that comes from this campus is not a lobbyist for higher education. That President Welty himself should be a lobbyist for higher education. They should be at the legislature.
and he is. He will tell you himself, he is.
But
He
they're
does that
fighting
a great
bills
deal.
like
So does every other
128,
president of
you know, should give
CSU,
more
individually
transparency.
and collectively.
But when they won't support legislation like the one to tax natural resources, that would be funds that would go directly to higher education. I mean, because they say that they're not a lobby group, and they throw that back in our face is very disrespectful.
I understand that, and I think, certainly I would like to think there's also differences of opinion within the state and even with the trustees regarding what is the most effective way to lobby. Just as we are here helping you become critical thinkers, looking at all sides of an issue, looking in depth at issues, at all the facts surrounding it. There's the surface information, and there's the immediate targets, and there's the underlying pieces where you really get a chance to have influence and make change. And we trust all of you to be able to look beyond the surface and become true critical thinkers. That's why you're here.
I think
You know, we
that's-
may disagree, but we won't disagree on the fact that we will look at all sides of the issue, and we may not agree on them for very good reasons. But the dialogue is still helpful.
I
And we
think-
can still disagree on what really may change, what really could work, but the dialogue is still what we're here for.
I think it's because we do have critical thinking skills, especially those of us here, that we have been able to see what the mismanagement of this university's money. Why can't you guys open up the book so we can see what the money's being spent? And two, I want to just say that like what Eddie was talking about, Campus Point and all these things. Why are we investing in all these things? We were looking at the big picture, like you mentioned. We're looking at it critically. Why is all this money being spent elsewhere when we're preaching equal sacrifices when in fact it's not? Why doesn't Welty renounce to his free house and to his free car? Maybe then we'll actually be able to see equal sacrifices.
Yes.
But once that's not happening, then we feel that we're just being taken advantage of while all these investments on the sides are going on to benefit just a few people in the university.
And it's not two equal sides. It's not two equal sides. We got a 32% pay increase. You guys still get paid a couple $100,000 a year with like $1,000 car allowance a month. And on top of that, I may be mistaken, but does Dr. Welty even have a PhD? He has an honorary PhD.
No,
he doesn't.
He has a doctoral degree.
He is an honorary doctorate degree?
No.
Because I looked on his education, it says pursued doctoral,
Indiana
7274.
Doctoral degree from Indiana University. No, he's.
Dr. Welty's also the first generation college student.
So is just for Jamie, the budget is transparent. It's out there. Every piece of it. It's available to the public. It's available to you. Library. It should be in the library. I don't know. I don't know.
Not the auxiliaries.
But it is published every year as part of our.
If the university has their own auditor, do you think they're really going to reflect how they're mismanaging their money? No, they're not going to reflect that. That's why we need a public, independent audit. That way, someone from the outside.
I don't think the auxiliary. That may be a different entity.
There you go.
If we can make just a little bit more of a path here, please. Just.
ASI.
into all this other infrastructure. That's not related to this campus. You know, there's also this feeling that we're turning into an entertainment campus versus an educational campus. That's the concern. You might say that the budgets are transparent for the campuses, but are they transparent for auxiliaries and the foundation?
I'd say to some extent, maybe not to the same extent because it is a public entity.
And those should be public as well.
And again, there are state laws that govern that, but I just want to be honest in terms of some of it is not. But I think it is all related, and those entities are unrelated to the actual funding structure of the campus in the general fund that we receive from the CSU as well as from the state.
My question would be: if we're making a profit on Campus Point or any of this, and it still seems tied to campus, is any of that money still leaking back into our campus?
Well, I don't know for sure. I'm talking beyond my. I don't see a lot of profit anywhere at this point in time. So let me leave it at that. But I'm not the expert on that.
Yeah, from what I hear, Save Mart is having losses, and how are they paying for these losses? How are they paying for all the lawsuits Fresno State has had? Yeah, that we have an insurance policy, but doesn't insurance go up? How are they paying for these things? Have you guys stopped to think about that?
Us.
We want to see the books. I mean, we want a public independent audit so that that person can judge where that money is really going. And I mean, I don't know if anybody guys know what pork barrel means. Does anyone know what pork barrel means? It's the government when they spend on local projects to benefit specific constituents so that they could support them. So what's happening here is that Fresno State is becoming, by establishing and building all these structures for Fresno's entertainment industry, what do we have to do anything with that? It's just to benefit a few people here, not us. It's hurting us. How we're paying for that little empire that's being built around Save Mart, Campus Point, assisted living, and all that stuff. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, I'm gonna get going. You know what? I hope they don't call us back. You know, this guy's talking about trust, and well, I don't trust him, but I hope they don't call us back, and I hope we get another chance to get together. And you know, I'll call their bluff, and I'm gonna get going. And you know, if it'll just give us another chance to get together again and get even bigger. So I'm gonna get going, and we'll see what they do. And, you know, I said we call their bluff. I said we get going, and just come back stronger, do what next time said, and you know, update everything, get everybody together, and let everybody know.
There's Dr. Welty's assistant went in to try to book something for us. So we're gonna wait until she comes back. So, you know, I know it's hot in here. We're probably hungry and thirsty, but hang in there. Hang in there. I think a lot of us come from backgrounds where our ancestors sacrificed a lot more than a little hunger and a little thirst. So just hang tight. Anybody else? Does anyone else wants to speak?
I got something.
Go ahead.
You know, we have looked at, because some of the books are open, and we have looked at them, and like, the fact of the matter is, like, fees have gone up at least 10%, like, every year except one in the past decade. So, I mean, this 32%, yeah, it's a lot more than usual, but it's still normal, you know, business as usual. And, I mean, the class size keeps going up and up, fewer and fewer faculty, so the quality of our education keeps going down and down, and we're paying more and more. I mean, this isn't anything new, and we're tired of it, you know? We're really sick and tired of it. So, I mean, yeah, as long as things are just going to keep doing what they've been doing. So, the students are saying enough, you know?
And we hear that loud and clear, and students all over the state are saying that.
Yeah.
We're trying to direct that. You know, frankly, and I know you don't necessarily agree with this either, but at the last meeting with CSSA, do you know what CSSA is?
Yes, California State.
That's the California State Student Association. You know, all 23 ASIs are represented on it, and they're almost all of them, I think, are working on it and are, you know, finally joining it. If you really want to have influence, you know, that's the organization that you should be lobbying. You've got them representing 400,000 students in a single voice to the legislatures. That's hard to ignore. That's very hard to ignore. But it takes collaboration among students from each campus to work together with the students from the other campuses to say, you know, we're in this together.
But at the same
we
time,
kind of restore the funding to the state CSU that we need to have in order to be able to provide you the classes that you want.